Like, you remember Fooly Cooly, right?
Of course.
It has animation moments very similar to that, where the characters are like constantly wackily shifting in all sorts of different poses, and it just keeps going beyond your expectations. It's glorious, and I recommend everybody watch it because it's amazing. If you need something to fill the void after Ezuken.
I mean, people are gonna be staying indoors a while longer, so gotta keep occupied somehow.
You're not doing anything else with your time, you lazy bastards. Don't don't cough into the mic.
I'm sorry, I'm dying.
That's no excuse. You're here to entertain. Oh, to be fair, best thing about dying, we get to watch this again.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Oh man, that was awesome.
There isn't even anything coming out of that bottle. But I remember.
I'm not entirely sure why he stutters. I think it's just a weird quirk he has. You know what? Just to avoid retreading, I'll go back in the hole. You know, I want to hear some more of your thoughts on Courage. You got any more in-depth thoughts?
I'm sorry, I think I've got a tickle in my throat.
Stop dying. Nobody wants to hear it.
You're the one who told me to off myself earlier. Oh wait, that wasn't in recording. Disregard that.
Yeah, it's not on record, so it didn't happen.
Help me!
Oh yeah, here's the horror part. We're banging on the door, asking for help, and she's acting like we didn't bang at all. Something strange is happening.
Help!
I actually misinterpreted it since I can't hear the voices, so I thought she's the one yelling, but she doesn't look panicked.
No, that is the most. Like, Henry screaming for help is about as emotional as he gets in the whole game.
Well, I'm gonna go call the super.
Oh, actually, speaking of those handprints, you'll notice a small little detail since the last time we looked out of here.
One's red.
Yeah, and that wasn't there before. And honestly, oh wait, I didn't save. I actually think that's a really cool detail, because you know how most of the time blood on walls is always just depicted as red?
Yeah.
Even though it's been there for ages and blood goes a sort of brownish colour when it dries? Well, this is the only game I've ever seen that carries through with that.
Hey.
15 brown bloodied hands, and one red one. I wonder what that means. Ooh, it's a fresh handprint. I wonder what it represents. It can't possibly represent the person that just died a few minutes ago.
Ooh.
What happens when there's even more handprints?
Things get worse.
What the, spoiler alert.
When did you say this was released?
I don't know. I think it got released last week or something.
It's an interesting quality style, I'll say that much.
Oh, this is terrible. I can't remember where the patch is. I know I should have put it on easy mode. I freaking hate that bug so much.
It's just obnoxious.
Yeah, give me your more in-depth thoughts on Courage.
If I can stop coughing for 5 minutes, sure. To be honest, there were a few episodes that I was actually quite surprised were in season 1.
Like what?
Particularly the I don't know if she was a siren, but it definitely came across that way. Like with the way she behaved, not so much how she looked. And was it King Ramses, the Return the Slab episode?
Yes.
Is there are a lot of season 1 episodes that I didn't recognize, so I thought, oh, it must have been later seasons I saw as a kid. But no, I remembered those two decently well. So seeing them in season 1 caught me off guard.
Ah, there it is. There's little hands coming out of the ground. That means we got to trowel this up.
Spooky.
We got a rusted bloody key. Now we can go back. This area is really short. Ah! No,
Oh,
wait.
no. We got the mist.
Uh,
Or is that just dust and wind? Who knows?
no, it's a mist. It's a stupid puzzle. Now that we've taken the key, well, now that we have the key on us, we can't actually go back the way we came. So we have to do this really stupid thing where we go down through the hole, put the key in the chest, go back, past the area, and then we go back into another hole and get the key back again. I assume
Why?
it was like supposed to be a puzzle. But the puzzles in Silent Hill games are often really obtuse. I mean, I already told you, they can kind of be logically figured out, but they don't really make too much sense. Like putting an antique coin in a soda machine to get a can that has a key inside of it.
What if
Or-
you just really wanted a drink?
Or
Be
you need,
disappointing.
or there's a door that doesn't have a handle, so you need to make a makeshift handle, and you do that by getting a horseshoe, a wax doll, and a lighter. You melt the wax onto the horseshoe, wait for it to set, and then use the horseshoe as a handle. Never mind the fact that I doubt the wax would be anywhere near strong enough to support the horseshoe when you pull it. Silent Hill 2 also had one that really bugged me. Like, it wasn't so much of a puzzle. It's one of those things that you probably could figure out relatively easily, but it's one of those things that once you know the solution, you just kind of get annoyed. And that's when you're looking for a key. You spend forever looking for it. And then you realize that there's a laundry chute. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to find a can of soda or orange juice or something, and then drop it down the chute, which dislodges a key that's inside it. I hated that. Hated it so much. I spent forever crawling around that place, and then I finally resorted to a guide, and I was like, man, the solution was right there this whole time. But then some of them can be really logical. Like, you find one of those jacks that's used for raising cars, and you make the logical connection that you could probably use it to pry open an elevator door that's only opened ever so slightly. And I think that's a nice, logical puzzle that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then you get other puzzles where the solution is that you have to find a hidden, what's it called? A hidden entrance behind a picture that you have to burn by combining a liver with some kind of chemical with matches. You put that all in a bucket, and it creates an almost sulfur-like gas that sets the picture aflame.
Huh.
Yeah, there he is. There's my main man, Jasper.
There's your boy.
I wonder what they
here.
did here. Hold on, you're going to enjoy what Jasper does next. More cult stuff. No
I
one
think
cares.
he'd have a Morty voice.
He sounds like a character from Tony Hawk.
He looks like he'd have like that sort of I think it's Justin Roiland sort of voice.
The
Like he's most known for the Morty voice, but like it's the voice he gives to a load of other characters that he plays in other stuff.
I mean, if Silent Hill 4 was made in 2020, I wouldn't put it past him. But yeah, we leave him alone for 10 seconds and he sets himself on fire. So
Why?
yeah.
Why would you do that?
Oh well, he'll explain. The door shuts behind us. Yeah, see, look, he's burning the numbers into his chest.
I finally met him! The one the nosy guy talked about! The devil!
And yeah, now he's dead. So that's enough.
Gonna get another handprint.
That's enough of that character, I think.
Special news report. In a forest near Silent Hill, the burned corpse of a 30-year-old man...
I'll probably finish the next area, and then that'll probably be it.
Sounds good.
I might not even finish the next area because the next area annoys me. Which is a shame because to me it's the most interesting area in the entire game. Oh yeah, we can also take a look out of our window from here. Or not. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't.
Never mind.
Another ring at the door. But yeah, now let's play a game of spot the handprint. As soon as he moves.
Get out the way!
Superintendent! Are you in there, Henry? Help me! There's something wrong with this room!
There's something not quite right about the facial animations in this game.
Is anybody home?
Which is a shame because I think Silent Hill 3 had really incredible facial animations, especially for the time.
What's going on here?
Like, even compared to games made in the late 2000s. Like, Heavy Rain. The cinematic masterpiece made by David Cage that's supposed to have really realistic mocapping and acting. But all the characters, like, have these completely blank, emotionless faces that barely move. Yeah, Silent Hill 3 had better facial animation than that game. And that came out in 2003 on a PS2.
There's the handprint.
Yep.
Making another row.
But that character right there, he is the dad
Heard something in there.
of James Sunderland, the main character of Silent Hill 2.
Huh.
Yeah,
Not that it really matters, but
that sound.
it's one of those weird things where the Silent Hill games don't, except for Silent Hill 3, the Silent Hill games tend to not really have like direct correlations to one another, but you'll always get these sort of references sprinkled throughout. Like the main character, the main villain of this game is Walter Sullivan, and basically the only reason he has the name Walter Sullivan is because there's a grave in Silent Hill 2 that also has the name Walter Sullivan written on it. So it's a way of just being all like, yep, he was there the whole time. So what are your thoughts on this game so far?
I think story-wise it's interesting, but as far as the puzzles go, it looks incredibly frustrating.
The puzzles aren't really frustrating. Some of them can just be irritating in ways that are like, I don't know, some of them are annoying for different reasons. A lot of them just require you to go back to the room.
Did you
Yeah.
not say that going to the room too often? I feel like I've seen this particular hallway, at least in clips.
Walter's gonna kill me.
Okay, the room doesn't actually hurt you until halfway into the game.
Okay.
I can only assume the only reason they stuck all that room stuff there was I assume primarily just so they can A, so that they can get some kind of puzzle value out of it, and B, so that it feels more like a home, because you have to go there more times.
Guess so.
Because if they didn't force you to go back to the room every now and again, like for saving and stuff, the only reason you would ever go to the room would be so that you can, would be because the game forces you to at the end of every level. But this is the water prison, and I really like it because to me it's the only area, really the only area in the game that presents itself as just a normal place and manages to be somewhat freaky. Because the only other areas I consider to be freaky in this game have very bizarre, freaky stuff happening within them. Like the like the possessed apartment building that looks like the walls are made of breathing flesh. Which I'll admit, I am a fan of. I do like it when the scenery around you appears to be living. In fact, that's one of the reasons why a certain episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog is my favourite. Well, one of my favourites anyway.
But so far, not one that we've gotten to.
No, I think it might actually be a season 3 episode. It just they go to like a theatre, and it turns out towards the end that the theatre they were in this whole time was actually made of flesh.
Ugh.
I know, it's pretty gnarly. I think I'm supposed to go up here. I don't like the puzzle of this one just because it can be very fiddly, and if you mess it up, there's a lot of running around to get back to it. Did I ever tell you what the villain of this game is?
No, the only time you've mentioned the villain was regarding the doll.
I think I go through here. Door 1, door 2, I think it's this door. Yes, it is. The main villain's Walter, and basically, he had abusive parents that didn't want him, and they abandoned him basically as soon as he was born. And he joined the cult, and the cult convinced him. Well, the cult's Ah! Alright.
Okay, yeah, I have heard of that.
Heard of what?
Just that,
Enemy?
yeah, that enemy.
You know what, kudos to you, Silent Hill 4, you scared me. If I remember correctly, I turned this one right twice. I think turning it once frees this man from prison. Each area just sort of has like some slight significance to Walter. Like the subway station was mainly where he hung about while he was homeless as a child and a teenager. The Silent Hill Woods is where he got the cult teachings from. This place was the orphanage that he was put in. The next area...
Wait, didn't you say this was a water prison?
It was it is a water prison, but they used it as an orphanage, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, this is one of the main reasons why I think it's kind of freaky, because each of these rooms has like a little peepee hole here, so that you can just spy on the people living in them. And you know what? I think that is some freaky stuff to think about.
Yeah, that on its own is pretty creepy.
Um, I think there's like various notes around here that talk about how the children were getting like very distressed and disturbed and upset because and sort of like going partially insane because they kept getting the suspicion that people were constantly staring and watching at them, and as it turns out, there were. Actually, I better check on my map to make sure I did it right. Uh, the fun thing, like, the weird thing about this game is that it ditches the fact that you have to find the map for each area, and instead it just fills it in as you go along.
Yeah, it's like you're scrolling the map in as you go.
Yeah, which I think is kind of nice. But yeah, this is... Oh wait, I never actually explained Walter's motives. Basically, he thinks that the room you live in is his mum.
I'm sorry, what?
I'll give you a few eons to let that sink in. He thinks your apartment room is his mum. And this is what I mean by them having such great ideas but squandering it in so spectacularly. The villain thinks the room is his mum. That sounds awful as like
That sounds
a single line.
absolutely insane.
But like if they just
It's exactly what I want to know.
tweaked it
Where
ever so
they go with
slightly
it.
and like just made it so that he got some sort of like maternal comfort and like acceptance that he never got from his actual mother, like just by being in the room, that would have just made so much more sense and would have been so much nicer. But instead they have to make him think his own room is his actual mother. Oh yeah, the red paper is something that I don't like as well, because almost the entirety of the story and lore is delivered through those red pieces of paper. And it's not the most compelling way to tell a story. You know what, we're coming quite close to the end. How about you give us a topic?
Um, oh, there's not a whole...
Waiting.
I don't know, do you want to hear how D&D went again?
Ah, the audience ain't gonna know about that.
Yeah, I'm in a campaign of Descent into Avernus with a couple of my friends from school. At the point we're at now, we've just been through a hive of hell wasps, and we had our very first true death. I say true death because this person had died previously, and there's that enemy again. But the last time this character died, we had the resources to
Yes.
resurrect him. I say we. My character just kind of stood there not knowing what to do because she is not very good with handling death. But yeah, he was resurrected and then he died again to a character who basically slaughtered his entire family.
Oh wait,
And
hold on. Look at these little like head like worm things.
lovely.
They're selling chocolate. Yeah.
See, I was thinking of the hands from Ocarina of Time.
That's a fair assessment.
Don't
Ah.
let him grab you.
Oh wait. I remember what the password is.
Hey,
What's the name? What's our flat number? Quack.
You think I was paying attention to that? I can't even hear what's going on.
Oh, well, it's room 302. And I put 320. There we go. I'm pretty sure there's a note somewhere that tells us that, but I can't remember. But yeah, here's some sadistic room that I think is a manifestation of Walter's time here and his imagination.
Absolutely lovely.
I like that each area is a manifestation of, like, what Walter, like, thinks of reality. It keeps up, yep, and there he is, he's dead.
Yep.
18121.
18121.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert for those in the cheap sheets, that middle one is not actually a 1, it's a slash, so it's actually 18 out of 21.
Oh. Are we gonna have to count the handprints on the wall?
No, it's just something that gets revealed later. Essentially, Walter...
I feel like that's something relevant to 18 out of 21 if it matches up.
Oh yeah, it matches up with the handprints. But essentially Walter wants to perform some ritual to, like, be with his mum again, and that involves killing 21 people. And that guy was number 18, was he? Yes, he was 18. He was number 18. The next person's gonna be 19. Eileen's number 20, and we're number 21. I'm not actually sure if that guy dies. But he's just staring at our apart. Oh, wait.
I mean, if he wanted the flat so badly, couldn't he have, like, been, hey, I want this flat?
Who, Walter?
Yeah.
There's some...
Just become roommates. Instead of a horror, it just becomes a sitcom.
Oh, there we are, baths full of blood.
That does not look like a good place to clean.
Oh, well, you'd be surprised. This is actually significant. We have to make a connection to this later on.
Why?
Okay, so you know after we completed the water prison, the place became, this bath is now filled with water.
Yes.
Well, we have to revisit, in the second half of the game, we have to revisit each area again. And when you revisit the water level, you find a t-shirt, a shirt on the floor. And from that, you're supposed to make the connection to then soak that shirt in the blood from that bath, so that way his name will appear, some, like, text or speech will appear, in his shirt. And then, yeah, you can solve the, riddle of the area from that. I can't remember what his shirt said, but I think it hinted at, I think it was supposed to hint at the fact that his ghost had the key for the next area on him. I think one thing you'll notice is that the hole's been getting bigger.
That's concerning.
It is concerning, isn't it? The hole's even bigger now. Well, that's what happens when you keep climbing in holes, they get loose. I think this is probably the most straightforward area of them all. Because there's zero puzzle to it. There's no real complexity to the room, and there's no real challenge to it. I think, the guy you meet is just some dude from across the road. Yeah. What were we talking about again?
D&D.
Oh yeah, you were talking about your
I was
D&D.
talking about, yeah.
Finish a chat about that, and then we'll finish up.
Basically, the character in question, Harriman, had basically come to attack us because we had to get Lulu back from
Lulu?
Lulu the Hollyphant. We had
What?
to get her back from the
Lulu the what?
the Hollyphant.
Hollyphint.
Yes, that is what she is. We had to get her back from the Wasp's Hive because she is story important. And I think uh, it, I believe as I described him was our living flamethrower. Just fireball all of the time.
I mean, it is the most reliable move in all of the game besides Magic Missile.
Well, technically he also uses Chromatic Orb, but mostly it's
Where
it's
the hell
fireball.
am I?
Oh, you're being threatened with a gun.
Yeah, but then he realized that I was a person. He was pointing it because he thought I was one of these monkey boys. Also, these enemies are absolutely ridiculous.
They look incredibly annoying. But
Oh, he got straight back up.
yeah, Harriman just he comes in. He's demanding we give him Lulu, but we need her to know where we're going. So we get into a fight with him, we take him down, and then because Lulu decided to attack him in such a way that burst open the hive, we have hell wasps to deal with as well, which one of them sacrifices a load of health to get Harriman back on his feet. So our DM is just telling us, guys, run. Do not engage, run. Which would be
Okay,
fine.
I just want to point out,
for the fact that we have a barbarian whose catchphrase is "fight."
I just want to point out something. I don't get what this texture is supposed to be. It looks like raspberry ripple ice cream. But yeah, sorry, your barbarian that goes fight.
Yeah, so the rest of us were like, yeah, okay, we're gonna get out of there. But I was gonna say our human flamethrower, but he's not a human flamethrower, he's a drow elf. He's basically yelling at our barbarian to get out of there, who eventually does. But unfortunately, he doesn't have the speed to get out of there before Harriman can get to him. So he gets knocked down and Harriman is still out for blood. So he full on kills him, so he doesn't even get his death saves.
Nice.
So since the rest of us were out there and had expected him to follow along, we're actually out of the hive entirely. And we see Harriman flying off after the illusion of Lulu, while all these hell wasps are going to take the hive for themselves. So we get to spend the next week, our characters just brooding over the fact that we've lost one of our own.
What a bunch of crybabies, am I right, guys?
And you know the best part?
What?
The one person whose character died doesn't believe in having a backup.
Oh, he was the one. I thought it was the DM.
No, the DM was fine with backups. He didn't really give his opinion on it either way. But I go into the chat the next day, and everyone except our barbarian player is making their backup characters. The DM was there as well, so he asked me if I wanted him to give me a backup sheet as well, and I was like, I already have mine. I expected to die long ago.
Well, that's what you get for being too cautious. You don't die.
And it's annoying because my backup has better numbers than my current character.
Was there some tricks to this? I can't remember. Oh well. We've passed an hour anyway.
Yep.
So that was the rambling of Quack and her D&D session where she doesn't die but other people do.
Only one.
And
other
this is
people.
me getting stuck on a ghost in Silent Hill 4. Any closing thoughts?
Congratulations on getting this far.